Indoor playground incident. Setting, late-night playground fun. The first incident takes place in an indoor playground within a restaurant, during late hours when the place is deserted. Two friends with nothing else to do find themselves drawn to the children's play area, a location typically bustling with the laughter of kids during the day. The empty playground, with its colorful slides and tunnels designed for children's amusement, seems eerie in the absence of the usual crowd. Nevertheless, the two friends decide to have some harmless fun, taking advantage of the vacant space. Event: unexpectedly spooky discovery. As the friends begin to enjoy themselves, giggling and running through the maze-like structures, they unknowingly capture something peculiar on camera. One of them notices that her friend's path is much brighter, while hers is shadowed and darker. While they are distracted by the playful ambience, the camera's microphone records a faint, strange sound, a voice that does not belong to either of them. It sounds like the babbling of a young child whispering something incomprehensible. Creepy element: a ghostly presence. Neither of the friends notices the voice at the time. Only later, when reviewing the footage, do they realize that the voice is undeniably present. There were no children around, making the presence of a child's voice deeply unsettling. Could it be that the spirit of a child, who once played in this very playground, lingered behind after closing hours? This question remains, as both friends were left creeped out by the possibility of a ghostly visitor. Airplane incident. Setting: an empty plane after hours. The next eerie event takes place aboard an empty airplane late at night. The plane, having completed its last flight of the day, sits idle as it undergoes its routine cleaning. A cabin cleaner, tasked with tidying up the aircraft, finishes his work but decides to stay behind for a while, something he doesn't usually do. He films his surroundings, sharing his experience of being alone in the plane, far from the usual crowd of passengers. The dimly lit cabin and quiet atmosphere make the aircraft seem strangely isolated, and the air feels colder than usual. Event: mysterious movement of the seatbelt. As he casually records and talks to the camera, something strange happens. A seatbelt, fastened securely to one of the seats, suddenly flings itself into the aisle. The cleaner, visibly startled, hesitates before investigating, convinced that no one else is on the plane. He checks the surrounding seats, but they are all empty, and no rational explanation comes to mind for what just happened. The movement of the seatbelt, seemingly on its own, has the feel of an unseen force eager to leave the plane. Creepy element: unseen passenger. The cleaner, now shaken, retreats to the back of the plane, where he hides and tries to rationalize what he witnessed. As the hours pass and he waits for someone to arrive, the fear lingers. The unsettling incident leaves him convinced that something unnatural occurred. The idea of a ghostly passenger who remained after the flight ends becomes more plausible the longer he stays aboard the empty aircraft, terrified by what might happen next. In a retail store late at night, the manager is wrapping up his tasks alone, organizing stock and unpacking boxes. With the store empty and the silence thick in the air, he takes comfort in the steady routine of his work. Little does he know, his quiet night will take a terrifying turn. He records some of his activities, partly as a way to document his work, but also because he feels a strange presence. Something in the atmosphere seems off. Suddenly, without warning, a box is thrown across the room. It doesn't drop or fall from a shelf, but appears to be hurled by an unseen force. The manager, surprised but skeptical, tries to brush it off, but the feeling that something isn't right continues to grow. As he checks the footage later, the evidence becomes undeniable. Not only is there no one else in the store, but the camera captures the moment when his hair is visibly tugged, as if by invisible fingers. The pull is strong enough to startle him, and he turns around immediately but finds no one there. The store manager, now thoroughly spooked, begins to believe that the store might be haunted. The footage is clear. Something unseen is interacting with him in an aggressive manner. The unsettling feeling of being watched or followed while working late at night now seems justified, and the incident leaves the manager on edge. wondering if the store harbors a spirit or some other supernatural force. Setting: the motel parking lot. Late one night, a woman sits in her car outside a motel, waiting to pick up her boyfriend after work. The night is quiet, the streets are deserted, and the motel looks like any other, a simple rundown structure with dim lights and a sleepy ambience. While sitting in her car, the woman begins to notice something strange in the distance. What first appears as a shadow is fleeting, making her question her own perception. Was she imagining it, or did something move? Event: the mysterious figure. Deciding to record what she's seeing, the woman points her camera toward the motel. What she captures is a dark silhouette that flickers in and out of view. The figure stands still for a moment before disappearing altogether. It doesn't seem to be a person walking by, but rather a shape that appears suddenly and vanishes just as quickly. The figure's lack of movement and its seemingly ethereal quality makes the woman gasp in shock. Creepy element: the vanishing shadow. The sighting leaves her unnerved. The shadowy figure, which seemed to flicker in and out of existence, doesn't behave like a person, leading her to wonder what exactly she witnessed. Was it a trick of the light, or could it be something more paranormal? The motel, already a somewhat eerie location due to its late-night emptiness, now seems even more foreboding. The footage captures something real, but exactly what remains a mystery. In a peaceful family home, night has fallen, and the household is winding down for the evening. The family, having hung bells on their front door as part of a tradition, uses these witch bells to ward off negative energy. It's a habit rooted in folklore, one that the family doesn't take too seriously, until something strange happens. The bells jingle without cause. At around 9:00 p.m., the family is startled by the sound of the bells jingling. Given that no one is expected to visit at this late hour, they become immediately cautious. The sound of the bells, loud enough to be heard throughout the house, suggests that someone or something has touched the door handle. However, when they check the front entrance, no one is there, and the door is firmly shut. An attempted intrusion? Upon reviewing the security footage, they are further disturbed. The video shows the bells moving as though someone had physically grabbed the doorknob, yet there is no one visible. The incident leaves the family deeply unsettled, wondering if the bells had done their job of keeping something sinister at bay. Though they have no clear explanation for what happened, the idea that a malevolent force tried to enter their home is a frightening thought. Fire incident. In a large building adjacent to a fire, a man records footage after calling the fire department. As he waits for help to arrive, he films the scene, capturing the flames licking the building's exterior. The fire appears to be spreading, yet something else in the footage draws his attention upon reviewing it later. Event: a figure in the flames. In the upper window of the burning building, a figure is seen standing still. At first, the man assumes it must be a person trapped inside, but as he watches, the figure doesn't move. There's no panic, no attempt to escape the fire. It simply stands there, unmoving, and eventually fades from view just as mysteriously as it appeared. Creepy element: ghostly bystander? What unnerves the man is the fact that no one else saw the figure, and upon later investigation, it is revealed that no one was inside the building at the time of the fire. This raises the chilling possibility that the figure in the window wasn't a living person. The stillness of the figure, its unresponsiveness to the flames, suggests something paranormal, leaving both the man and viewers questioning what or who was watching from the window. Child in the crib. A small child, wide awake in the crib despite it being well past bedtime, is being watched by a camera, part of a baby monitor system. The house is quiet, and the parents are elsewhere, going about their nightly routines. The child stands in the crib, seemingly fixated on something unseen in the room. Suddenly, the baby monitor picks up a strange voice. It's not the child's, nor is it from any of the adults in the house. The The voice is eerie and quiet and seems to come from the direction of the crib. It mutters a few garbled words, but one phrase stands out distinctly: "Let me in." The phrase is unnerving, to say the least. What could this voice be, and why is it interacting with the child? The parents, upon hearing the recording later, are disturbed by the voice's appearance in their child's bedroom. Was it a spirit trying to gain entry, or something more sinister? The thought of a ghostly presence so close to their child terrifies them, leaving the mystery unresolved. In an old house with an attic that has always felt a little creepy, a man sets up a camera to record some strange occurrences he's experienced lately. The attic, filled with dusty old furniture and forgotten objects, carries an eerie atmosphere even in daylight, but the events that happen next leave the man convinced the place is haunted. As the man films, a heavy piece of furniture which had been stationary for years suddenly flips over with no visible cause. The movement is so abrupt and violent that the man jumps in fear, shouting as he runs out of the attic. He doesn't return for hours, too terrified to investigate further. The footage shows that no one else was in the attic at the time, and the movement of the furniture seems completely unnatural. The man's fear is palpable, and he's convinced that the attic is haunted by a poltergeist or some malevolent spirit. The unsettling experience leaves him too frightened to return, wondering what might happen if he does. After reviewing each incident, viewers are left to make up their own minds about the events captured on camera. While some might dismiss them as coincidences or tricks of the mind, the footage provides compelling evidence that suggests something more supernatural may be at play. Whether it's the spirit of a child in a playground, a shadowy figure haunting a motel, or ghostly figures appearing in the middle of a fire, these moments leave everyone questioning the boundary between the natural and the paranormal.